This week we have a mix of summer hosting meals and some much needed tasks in order to keep this house manageable. I want to talk about all of my feelings on that, but first I want to share with you what we have going in our kitchen. We're having some friends over for dinner tonight, so I just did a summer classic with burgers that we will do on the infrared grill, some freshly made French fries, and some Mexican street corn. This is my go-to because generally we have all the ingredients to do this and it's super, super easy.
These two in the thing, and those have been in there for enough time to start one.
I have found that the trick to getting crispy fries at home is to 1, fry them longer than you think they need to be fried, and 2, let the oil drain immediately. So I use a slotted spoon to pull them out and hang it over the fryer a little bit so that the oil gets away from the fries, and I have found that this makes them very, very crispy and tasty.
This is a note to the editor. The reason they look like burger donuts is so that when they rise, essentially when they cook, they expand. The little dimple in the middle keeps it from getting one big moundy thing. So, and then the eggs help keep the burgers together. So especially when using something like the Bighorn, if you're not using any sort of binder, so you can use mayo, you can use eggs. If you don't use a binder, they tend to fall apart, especially when you try and flip them. So in order to get one good, equally proportioned burger that doesn't fall apart when you flip it, a little bit of eggs, about 1 egg per pound is what I do, and then we'll dimple in the middle.
Yes. Oh, honey, hey.
There are a few cues to me that it is time to go through my clothing. One is it's getting harder to get dressed in the morning. I don't like having to choose from a ton of options. The second is that laundry is getting overwhelming. I find that if I am forced into a 1 load a day system, that I do better with that. And the third is that I feel like I just can't keep my clothes organized, or that it's hard to put them away when I'm doing laundry. That is the cues that it's just time to get rid of some stuff. This season of my life is especially unique for clothing because things are changing so quickly. I went from being pregnant to being, of course, immediately postpartum, and everything needs to be nursing friendly and wrap friendly. And now I'm in an era where it doesn't really need to be wrap friendly, but my body is still changing as I get more and more postpartum, if that's the right terminology. So it's just kind of hard to know what to keep and what to get rid of, but there are certain things that I just know are not for me, and those are the things I'm trying to filter through right now, just so that getting dressed feels a little bit less overwhelming. I only like to keep pieces that are of really high quality with good fit and that I really, really like and enjoy wearing. Some of those pieces are from Halara, who happens to be the sponsor of today's video. Halara clothing is made for what moves you. I love so many things about their pieces. First and foremost, I love that they have so many unique and wonderful fabrics. You guys know that I care a lot about different types of fabric, being a sewist, and I can tell you that Halaras are of the utmost quality, which I really, really appreciate. Another thing that I love is that almost all of their items come in multiple colors, which I think is really cool. I love to wear bright, bold colors like this, but if you're someone who likes neutrals, they also have that. Their fabrics have a certain softness to them. They are stretchy when you want them to be stretchy, and they are still very durable. And another thing that I love is that they are not see-through. I find that as a mom, I just don't want to be fiddling with a garment, and Halara has all the sort of features to make that possible. They have built-in sliders in skirts, they have removable pads in the tops of dresses, there's pockets, and the fabrics aren't see-through. It's a garment that you can just throw on and wear super easily. I also love that my pieces are very versatile. I can wear them casually around the house, or I can dress them up and go to church. This is especially something I look for in a minimalist wardrobe because I want all of my pieces to be heavily used, and all of my Halara pieces are. Halara has a wide size range ranging from extra small to 4X, so you are certain to find something that works for you and your lifestyle. In a lot of ways, from the color to the sizing to the fabrics to the versatility and the pricing, Halara is designed with everyone in mind. They're affordable and they're of high quality, so you are certain to find something that you love there. I know that you guys will find something you love at Halara just like I did, so make sure to head to the link in my description. You can use my code for 15% off. Thanks so much to Halara for sponsoring today's video. Summer is definitely a season where I'm not wanting to spend hours on end in the kitchen. In fact, I really just want to have dinner done in the most convenient way possible, and I want lunches to be very packable. One of my favorite really easy dinners that I can prep pretty much any time throughout the day is an enchilada casserole. It is really simple to make, so the first step is to get the chicken cooked in the Instant Pot and shred it, and then you just assemble it into a casserole using corn tortillas. I did a homemade enchilada sauce in this one because I had ran out of enchilada sauce, and then I put corn in it, diced tomatoes, onions, pretty much anything that sounds good, and you just layer it into a casserole. I think that this is another recipe that is really, really good for using up maybe some corn tortillas that you made at home that didn't turn out the best. This is what I do with all of my rejects that I know are not going to turn into really pliable, good taco shells. I put them in an enchilada casserole so that they don't go to waste. This is certainly not an authentic enchilada sauce, and I know that. It was just what I was able to make with what I had on hand, so it definitely did the trick for a casserole. Now, I would love to deep dive into enchilada sauce and all things enchilada and Mexican food and masa, but I didn't do that today. So I am most definitely interested in making an authentic enchilada sauce, but this was just a combination of spices and broth that I had already on hand. This casserole was just for our little family of 4, but I have found that this is a really good meal to make when you are hosting. Like I said, you can make it at pretty much any point throughout the day and then just toss it in the oven before people are about to come over. And I have never found that people are upset with an enchilada casserole. In fact, usually it gets lapped up very, very quickly and everybody loves it, especially if you do some good toppings like guacamole and sour cream. People tend to love this meal. In addition to my clothing, one of the spaces that was really starting to overwhelm me was my bathroom closet. It became the kind of space where I just started to toss everything in it with no regard to any sort of organization or asking myself if I should even keep that item that I was tossing in there. So of course it got out of control and was definitely overwhelming me every morning. I started cleaning it out by just going through and getting rid of things that we don't need or I don't use, or stuff that we happen to acquire one way or another that we just don't need to have. I'm a firm believer that you cannot organize your way out of owning things that you don't need to own. I think that often I tell myself it's not that I'm unorganized, it's just that there is too much stuff here. And if I get rid of the stuff that I don't use or don't need, then I can actually go in and organize it with a system that makes sense for the way that I actually use those items. Though I love the container aisle at Target just as much as the next mom, I always try to tell myself that the container or the storage solution that I think is going to solve the problem is not actually the solution. The solution is getting rid of stuff that we don't need so that there is less to organize and less visual clutter. And whenever I do, it is so rewarding. Every morning now has just been a breath of fresh air whenever I get ready because that closet isn't overwhelming me anymore. My husband ever so kindly requested that I make some more sourdough pretzels. I take it as a big compliment whenever he requests that I make stuff because that means he likes it, and it's just an easy way for me to do something that feels special to him. And so that is what I have going here in the kitchen now. It's just some sourdough pretzel bites that are really easy and fun to make. I am using the recipe from my sister's cookbook, Daily Sourdough by Lisa Bass.
You and Daddy? Why don't I get any? You get some. You do? Okay. What?
I have talked about this several times on this channel before because I do love to talk about decluttering and simplifying my home because I honestly view it as a life hack to make this whole job of being homemaker so much easier. I like to declutter just as part of my regular routine in my normal life so that the house always feels very manageable to me. So I hope that this approach is encouraging and inspiring to you, and maybe you can apply it to your own home so that it feels very, very manageable.
This is called an egg wash.
Thank you so much for joining me here on our Sweet Sunny Days, and I will see you guys in next week's video.